What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is Blazer King with King's Critiques, and we're here for Spy Family Season 3. Got the drip, and, well, this isn't exactly the shirt I normally would buy, because it's long sleeve, neck's a little loose, but hey, I think it was one of those cases where I thought to buy up because it mentioned that it's usually under a certain size, so oopsie daisies. Anywho, this ended like a month or two ago, so we're here for this now. And again, similar to Oshinoko, Mother's Day month, so it kind of makes sense on it. So that being said, I'm going to do the usual opening spiel when going into a new season of something, with a little bit of added extra. Number one, been a while since Code White, so I'll probably just let the recap play because obviously I remember what the show is about, but I do not remember what the last things that happened are. So clearly, we're going to get going with that. And on the other thing, when the intro and outro play, as always, to show respect for the first and last episodes of the season, we're going to be listening to things so the Patreon side can enjoy that. And the YouTube side, well, you know what it is. Go join the Patreon because it does help me out immensely. And that's all in the description down below, as well as thanking the people who are currently subscribed to the Patreon. That being said, though, let's get on with the usual way of things. If you don't know what the show is, it's about a family, Loid, Yor, Anya, and I forgot the dog's name. Crud. Oh. And Loid spy, Yor hot assassin lady, Anya telepathic gremlin child, and the dog is psychic or something as well. So it's a neat little modern fantasy kind of thing going on. Very fun show, very entertaining, very slice of life, comedy, action, all those random vibes, and it works. But now that I'm done with the whole spiel of what the show is for those who aren't 100% aware by season 3, let's get on with the usual bits of the... If you're not already aware, it would be highly appreciated if you could hit the like button, subscribe, let the whole video run through, let me get the watch time because it's highly appreciated, good for the algorithm, and all of that stuff. Though, what is honestly good for YouTube's algorithm these days anyway? Very hard to tell, very difficult, and annoying. But that said, let's just get into the beginning of the season, shall we? Okay, I was thinking the name was Bond, like the guy from Seven Deadly Sins, but Bond, like the spy. So, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. But, like, that seems like a really good thumbnail image for this show, honestly. Unless YouTube's gonna yell at me for it. But then again, they haven't yelled at me about using a body as a thumbnail before, so... Also, a small bit, possible non-canon or not, watch Code White if you haven't yet, because it's such a good movie. I saw it in theaters when it dropped. It is such a good movie. Honestly, I still might rewatch it after this whole thing, because it's so good. Meanwhile, Bond's probably halfway, like... It is funny with this entire thing, though, like, obviously, I don't read a lot of manga. I don't even know if the manga's ended yet. But it is very obvious to tell what the end game for this whole thing will be. Like, whether Operation Strix is successful or not. They're going to continue to Did I just have a little stroke? Remain a peaceful, happy, loving family. Because as awkward as their interactions are at times, and a possibility of them fighting about each other's, things, they'll probably still remain a very happy family, honestly. Other than yours kind of douchebag brother. I don't think he'd be too pleased with much, but... Also, am I crazy, or does Loids' artist give him Obama ears now? Have they always been that big? Okay, this is one of those times I have to be an asshole about the fucking subtitles. Okay, so fez is not actually a word. He meant this. So, ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes into episode 1, it's time for the lesson of how spelling works. This is not a word. This would be the context of the word he's trying to talk about. And this is spelled T-H-I-S. So apparently they have some 20-year-old doing subtitling for Crunchyroll. But it's not the first time I've seen this kind of thing happen on any streaming platform. Wonder what's going to happen eventually when we just have all illiterate fucks working for subtitles and not a single thing is spelled correctly other than simple words. God, we are cooked as a society at this point, aren't we? And yes, I'm talking about this because it's specifically misspelling words in subtitles. But here's the thing. This episode specifically is at least 3 months old. So that's plenty of time for somebody to notice and be like, oh, that's not correct, and fix it. Matter of fact, at the end of the episode, I might even oh, no, they turned off comments on Crunchyroll. Their connection also is very, very amusing itself, because, she can read minds, he can see the future, so it means she can tell what he's seeing and try to do something about it. Unfortunately, not like she can tell Loid or Yor about the situation. Yeah, that was kind of a horrifying thing to see. And just for example's sake, that little fork? No, it's not a fork. Fuck. What's the thing with the clampy? I'm not an industrial tech person. I don't know the names of everything they use. But basically, she goes after balloons and tragedy. Okay, but this dude getting pissed off about having to work on his day off is relatable to a lot of people, I imagine. Going as far as to take some part of, heavy machinery and throwing trees around to hurt people, I think that's a little excessive, Just punching somebody in the gut just to vent, that'd be more understandable than what he ends up doing. The irony of this situation. The way she said I have to go after the guy who looks like a bad guy. We've had at least 2 things happen in things I've recorded and even uploaded one of recently, to where I said you can judge a book by the cover sometimes, but then there's other times you can't judge a book by the cover. So she's doing that, and which end is going to be correct. Because even in her vision, we didn't see who was operating the machinery. So is it that guy? Or is it somebody else who's playing something, more messed up? But here's at least a good thing. Loid's a smart man. Even if she's not going to tell him directly what the issue is, he's having those gears turn, be like, she was so happy a minute ago, playing, laughing, eating snacks. Now she wants to go home? What is up with her? The look of utter confusion by her trying to make some bullshit of doing homework. Both of them probably know better than that, but they're just gonna go with it because they can't really question why. Or he's just gonna, buy it. Whatever, he'll see something wrong on the way home, and Jesus, I still can't get over it. Did they get bigger? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to back off from that thought process. Okay, well that wasn't, wait, was that the guy? Guess it is the guy that was bitching earlier that got into that thing. And Loid's actually paying attention to what the guy looks like, so he's probably going to start having, his mind work, like I said before. Because, well, in one way, he's just very hopeful that Anya actually wants to do good by him. He can think more than the obvious sometimes. It's kind of what had a lot of progress in Code White Go, how it did. Okay, so that's so unfortunate. I'm gonna go over my thought process of what's about to happen here. He's not actually the one responsible for what's about to happen, though he is kind of the trigger behind it. because he was just staring into the sky, getting all pissed off about the happy families again, and then a bird shit in his eye. Which, honestly, that probably sent me over on another end too. But I can also say it's probably that thing he's using there. Yeah, that's probably just gonna start moving on its own, because like the thing he was trying to pull off from the windshield is gonna like get wrapped around the gear shift or whatever, and things are just gonna start happening on their own. Okay, perhaps I was wrong on that latter half, because he's back in there and doing shit a lot more aggressively than he was. Like, I just hotwired his own vehicle to catch up to them. Alright, Lloyd, you go. This is probably about to be very entertaining for Anya, though. Seeing two construction vehicles fighting each other. There's at least 2 video games about that, and both of them are very fun. Oh, yeah, and that building that he was destroying stuff inside of is now crumbling, and I'm guessing there's people walking by. Oh, an old man and a little doggy. Okay, old man, why would you stop when you see something... People like that are stupid, though. Like, good thing you're saving them, but people like that are dumb. Oh no, there's a giant thing coming toward me, about to crush me. What is that? It's the same kind of thing as in a horror movie when you hear and you don't know what it is and you're not expecting anybody, but you go to investigate. Yeah, chihuahuas are normally very shaky animals, but I think that thing knew how much trouble it was in. More than the old man, honestly. Ah, yes, Bobo 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 Bobo. It's one of those things I actually do want to rewatch, as crazy of a show as it was back in the day. Because it's one of those things that, like, they created just to be the most insane piece of fiction that they could have in that era. And it was actually good. Like, it was stupid as hell, but it was good. It was actually kind of... Bobo 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 ran, or walked, so Gintama could run. And I think Gintama might have started a little bit earlier than Bobo ended, if it actually got an ending. But y'all can fact check me on that one. And L to the bad guy. Loid just completely destroyed his vehicle. I was lying. So, Yor says she's going to try very hard to make a lot of delicious dishes. Anyone want to guess how many of those will be successful? Because listen, Yor takes at least a 9 on the hot scale and a 10 on the badass scale. And similarly, at least a 9 on the scale of being a waifu. But on the scale of being a wife? Listen, from what your cliche standard expectations of being a wife is, one of those qualities would be to cook. She is lucky to be above a 3 at that. Because there have been things she's made that look edible. As for them actually being so, she lucked out with, I think, soup at one point. Even Bond's off to the side, worried about what's gonna happen. And he can see the future, so that's even worse. And is being driven to tears that she knows what's gonna happen with Yor's cooking. That's insane, honestly. Like, being driven to tears knowing that your mother is such a terrible cook. Oh, I feel bad for her. I do. My guy's head looks like a turnip. Is he the father of that acorn-headed kid that's in Damien's class? Maybe. You know, there's a lot of hot women in the show. And Fiona's definitely up there. But the fact that, she's basically what's on screen, and the way she just conveys it so subtly is insane. And obviously, we can talk about other characters that convey their love in very subtle but also extravagant manners. Nobody in particular I'm referring to, of course. She just does it a whole other kind of way. Man, Fuzzhead has a lot of traps on the way to his location, doesn't he? Oh, is it not Fuzzy? I thought it might be Fuzzy that he pointed him the direction, or pointed her in the direction of. Why did I say him? Fiona's, like, hot, and I'm not a weirdo. Okay, it is Fuzzy. Damn, he was just trying to flirt a little, Fiona. Come on. Listen, I'm just saying, not many people would have a problem being dragged around by a woman like Fiona. But in this case, maybe a little bit, because she is being very rough, and not in the fun way. No, and if you start to consider it, she will crush your balls. And again, not in the fun way. So people know him by his real identity, but she has to wear a disguise. I mean, granted, technically she works for the government, but still. Man literally did just want to do this so he could show off a bit for one time only, just to come back the next time and be like, yeah, she dumped me, she was too hot. No, she's going to hurt him later. So very much. She is so upfront. I have a job for you. Motherfucker, at least show some pleasantry. Damn, so she didn't even offer him enough money for him to prioritize it? How much money is he expect? How much money did she even offer? Because, like, working for the government, technically, she probably offered a lot as is. So how much more could she offer? Well, the guy they hired was about to be in trouble, and Fiona, being just as good as Yor, actually, their little 1v1 in the last season kind of said that Yor might be just a little bit better. She's still good enough to take care of a bad guy. Yeah, see, Fiona's talking to him about the job, and this guy thinks he's gonna get the upper hand on them, but, no. I mean, Frankie probably didn't have to save Fiona on that, but courteous. In that same instance, she tossed the knife from a few seconds ago at the guy that shot her. So, yeah, Frankie didn't have to do much, but he's courteous. And honestly, courtesy and chivalry from a guy like that is rare nowadays. Like, I'm not against the total man hate, but I also partially agree that not a lot of us are courteous in that manner, for better or worse nowadays, so good for Frankie. Okay, this sentence right here is probably the most to the point of our modern day society that anything could say, and it's true. We're too constrained. Maybe not this country, as in the one I live in, or the one that he lives in, but everything is too constrained now. And honestly, it's not for the better, it's for the worse. Because you take things that are constrained, restricted, censored, whatever, and then you take the things that aren't, and it doesn't match up. That's complete bullshit, honestly. Like, I'll even talk in the way of anime, for example. You know, you have a good amount of anime that are free to do whatever they want, talk about whatever they want, show whatever they want, and then you have stuff that is censored to the point where it just gets ruined. I brought this up a few times before, and I'll mention it again. Netflix's adaptation of Detective Conan. It got ruined because basically what you get from that first death from the whole show is a cum geyser. Because they did the Chinese way of censoring of turning it white, and that doesn't look good. As for the YouTube side of things, however, it was a good opening episode of the season. We got to see all of our favorite characters, minus one annoying child, back and in their best shape for the beginning of the season. You know, Fiona, the head informant lady, Loid, Yor, all of them looking good. And a good kickoff to the season with a bunch of fun showing off what everybody can do. Whether or not Fiona planned on those people to attack her, Frankie, and the other guy, that's up for debate. Though the highest possibility seems like she might have been, but yeah, whatever. It's fine. That said, however, good way to come back to the show. Good first episode. Can't wait to watch the rest of it myself over the course of the next probably couple of days. This is gonna be a bitch though. Hopefully it doesn't reach over 60 at all. But that being said, I don't really have a lot to recap from the episode. This is at least going to be one of those shows where it's not really a lot to recap other than the happenings. Not a lot to talk about either. Other than, I suppose, the question to raise is, what would you do to get a baddie like Fiona on your side? Fair question, right? But that being said, it's just usual outro-y stuff of don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the other channels in the description, ring bells like Facebook, follow Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Patreon, and over on Twitch. I do promise I'll get back to streaming soon. I did a couple weeks ago, and then I just haven't again since, because being a solo editor for everything I do is a very unfortunate process. That being said, did I mention to let me know about any other shows, movies, etc. you should check out this next season or in general? Well, if I hadn't, then there you go. Ben the Blazer King with King's Critiques. Out, ta-ta for now. Peace.